How's everyone doing this afternoon? Good. I guess I should start off my presentation by addressing the very obvious elephant in the room, the thing that you can see, you know, with me here up on stage, or maybe in the picture behind me. But it's plain as day. You can clearly see that my right ear is a little bit bigger than my left ear, and it's true. It is very, very true. I know it detracts from a lot of the other things about me, but no. Uh, Joking aside, I had an ear surgery a little while ago, and after the surgery, the doctor said, "No, it's pretty swollen. It'll take a while for that swelling to come down, but don't worry, it'll eventually even out." And I thought, if people are going to notice my right ear being a little bit bigger than my left ear, over and above the fact that I'm missing arms and legs, they have a very fine attention to detail, because I would think this would distract them enough. But I was born without arms and legs. There's no real known reason as to why I was born like this. When I was born, there was lots of people that worried maybe my mom was exposed to chemicals on the farm. And a lot of people asked me if I was a thalidomide baby. My mom never took thalidomide. She never took anything that might have been a hindrance or detrimental to the pregnancy. It's just one of those things that happened. Also, my parents are not related, so you can rule that one out too. But a lot of people will ask me if what growing up without arms and legs was like, especially kids. Kids ask the best questions, and they'll say, "Well, what does it feel like to not have any arms and legs?" And I'll tell them, "Well, what does it feel like to have arms and legs?" I said, "Well, pretty normal." That's exactly. And there's two reasons why growing up without arms and legs, in my opinion, was quite easy. And one, this has been my normal my whole life. I've never known what it's like to have arms and legs. I just figured out how to do things the same way you guys did. You have fingers and toes and knees and elbows. You just learned how to do things. You learn how to grasp things with your hands when you were a baby. And then you learn how to crawl, and then you learn how to walk, and then you learn how to run, and now you do everything just second nature. It was the same thing for me. I had to, figure out different ways of doing things, absolutely. But, everything that I was born with, I've just learned how to maneuver. Getting around on the skateboard. If I need to go somewhere that I maybe can't board, I can hop on my one leg. I did wear prosthetic legs when I was younger, but I just found that I can get farther, faster, more efficiently on the board than I ever could on the artificial legs. And then as far as artificial arms are concerned, I never really liked artificial arms. I always found I was able to do everything with what I have far more efficiently than I could with any prosthetics that I ever tried out. Even that's just the regular clicker. There's no sticky on the back of it. So I was able to balance things quite well, which ironically I'm a hand talker, so that comes in handy. That's also a pun. But you figure it out. And even something like operating my cell phone, just pop that out of my pocket. I don't have to use Siri or voice text. I can use the phone just as is. Again, it's just a regular phone case. There's no sticky on the back. A lot of people will say, "Well, is there a magnet in there?" But yeah, that would work fantastic if I was made of metal. But I could swipe in, hit the individual password. I could type, text, send emails. Maybe not quite as quickly as you guys can, but still quite fast. And the only thing I really do differently on my phone than you guys would is when you're zooming into a photograph or a website, you use your thumb and your pointer finger. I have to use my mouth like this. So my buddies will tease me about whose photo I'm looking at. Usually it's a photo of myself. The other reason why growing up without arms and legs was easy is a good sense of humor. I've always said, if you can't laugh at life, what can you laugh at? And we take life far too seriously, in my opinion. And being able to laugh off any situation that you're in, whether it be my situation, being born without arms and legs, or any situation that any of you might find yourself in, whether it be a bad day at work, bad day at school, or just having a rough time. If you could slow it down, find the funny, it helps you get over it and makes life seem not so stressful. And, you give yourself a good chuckle, and maybe you share that story with family, friends, coworkers, whatever, and give them a good laugh. And, that stage was set very, very early on when I was born. When I was born, it wasn't, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? This is a tragedy. What kind of quality of life is he going to have? My grandma's reaction to hearing that I was born missing arms and legs was that my dad never finished anything he started. It's true. It was going to be one of those things where, everything's going to be fine. We're going to figure this out. We're going to have some good laughs along the way. And also, too, my parents took a very, hands-off approach to how they raised me. They let me figure things out. And they knew early on that if they did everything for me, all they were going to teach me is to sit back and wait for somebody else to do it. And Mom and Dad said, there were a lot of times where it was tough to sit back and watch me struggle. But they knew that I had to fail a few times. I had to fail a lot of times to get to the point where I am today, where I'm completely self-sufficient, independent. When I'm traveling on the road with this job, I don't have to have somebody traveling with me. If you walked into my apartment, you would never know that there's a person with a disability or a person missing arms and legs living in there. It's the same apartment as anybody else. And I'm a less is more type of person. I've always found that if I can accomplish my day-to-day tasks with the minimal amount of adaptive technology, I'm setting myself up for success when I go outside the home. You can have all these gadgets around home, but then you got to lug them everywhere you go. And I love traveling. I'm not quite even close to the level of Gunner, but I'm working on it. But all of a sudden, if I don't have to rely on grab bars and stools and prosthetics and little gadgets to do day-to-day tasks, all of a sudden the whole world is accessible to me. I could do anything anywhere, and it's worked out great. Now, I talk about growing up without arms and legs being easy, and I'm talking about the physical aspect of it. Trying to figure out how to get dressed, or figuring out the longboard, or opening up a bottle of water, or whatever. Those things were the easy part. It's when the 6 inches of space between the ears gets in the way. That's when times can get a little more difficult. And yeah, I've had those days where I thought, if I had arms and legs, life would be a hell of a lot easier. And I've had those moments where, I get so frustrated. Why do I have to work 10 times as hard to do A, B, and C? Man, it would just be nice to walk into a hotel room and flip on the light switch that I could reach and reach the shower head and all that kind of stuff, or a bank machine. I have not found a bank machine in the world, and I've traveled to a lot of places, not a single bank machine in the world am I able to just walk up to and grab cash out of. There's been many times I flagged down a random stranger and asked them to help me out with the PIN code. I'm a very trusting person, and so far that hasn't backfired on me. But there was one day I got into Paris, France, and I hadn't picked up any euro yet. And so when I got there, I checked into my hostel. They only accepted cash. I didn't have any cash on me. So about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, I took off to find a bank machine downtown Paris. Finally found one, but as per usual, I can't reach it. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was having a tough time picking out one person that I felt I could trust. Nothing against the French, but so I'm looking around and I saw a little store, a little restaurant, a couple doors down. They had tables and chairs sitting outside. So I figured I'd grab a chair, pull it up to the bank machine, climb up, get my money, put the chair back. No harm, no foul, because this restaurant's closed. And so as I'm at the bank machine, this guy comes out of the restaurant looking very, very confused, trying to figure out what's going on. What I didn't realize is he was in there cleaning up after they had closed. And from his vantage point, all he could see is this. So he had come outside trying to figure out why his furniture was floating away. But it's one of those things, in that moment, I could have very, very, very easily got really pissed off and really angry and thought, you know what, this sucks. If I had arms and legs, I'd be able to do this way easier, not have to, try A, B, and C to figure out how to get, money out of the bank machine. But no, you figure out a way. If you want to figure out something bad enough, you will find a way to make it happen. And honestly, you push through those tougher moments, and more often than not, there's a good story and maybe even a funny story that comes out of that too. But yeah, be able to slow it down and think of the things that are going well in your life instead of letting the negativity boil over. Think about, and for me, yeah, I'm born missing arms and legs. I'm never going to have arms and legs. I'm worrying about things that I have no control over. I'm never going to be able to change that. What I do have in my life, I have an amazing family. I have 2 little nephews and a niece that I absolutely love to death. That necklace there was made by one of them. I grew up in a great community in Nanton, Alberta, Canada. I have a job that I absolutely love. I get to travel the world, share my story. I've seen some amazing places, met some incredible people. And then I also work on the farm when I'm not busy doing this, and I absolutely love that. All of those things make the fact that I was born without arms and legs absolutely moot, secondary, irrelevant. And it's a choice. It's being able to recognize the good things that are going on in life. And there's the saying, if the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. I tend to think that the grass is pretty green right where you stand. You just got to take the time to notice it and acknowledge it. So once you are able to put things into perspective and realize that life is pretty good, life is pretty awesome if you want it to be, then it's about being confident in yourself. And for me, I know I'm different. Different isn't a bad thing. Call it unique, call it special, call it whatever you want. But the fact of the matter is, when I'm going down the sidewalk or down the street or rolling around campus, I get stares, I get questions. I've had every single possible reaction you could think of to my not having any arms and legs, and it doesn't bother me. Never. I would rather actually take a minute or two and answer a couple questions and give somebody the right answer than for somebody to make an incorrect assumption as to what I can or can't do, or what kind of quality of life I have. And the stares, I have fun with it. People in North America think they're really sneaky about it. We'll be walking down the sidewalk, or they will. I'll be doing my thing. And as we get closer, they'll be looking straight ahead, but I'll notice that they'll be looking down out of the corner of their eye when we get closer. And I know when I see that after I pass them and take a look behind me, I'm going to catch them. And then they do this and pretend that they were... It's great, but again, it doesn't bother me. It does not bother me at all, because I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm confident. I'm proud of who I am. And that confidence that's on the inside projects on the outside, and people pick up on that. And yes, the jokes, that definitely does help. Telling people that I have a disarming personality, absolutely. That puts people at ease and helps them realize, hey, this is just a regular guy. And to really drive this story home, or drive this point home, the best story I like to tell is this picture right here. That's a little tiny village just outside of Siem Reap, close to Angkor Wat. When we got there, those kids weren't too sure how to react to me, how to respond. So I gave them my board and I let them play for a minute or two. And once they got comfortable, I jumped in and was kind of playing with them. From the time we got to that village to the time that photo was taken, maybe 5 minutes had gone by. If I'd have gone into that village really self-conscious, worried about how they're going to react, and always shy and hating that people stare, that discomfort on the inside is going to project on the outside. They're going to pick up on that. But right there, the last thing on those kids' minds is that I'm missing arms and legs. We're just regular people, and that's right there, being comfortable in my own skin and not worrying about how people are going to react to me, allows me to get out there and do all the things that I love doing, or that I dreamt of doing, and basically taking control of my circumstances instead of passively waiting for life to happen, for life to decide my fate. I've never been one to sit back and just let things happen, and my parents were never ones to protect me either. They let me go out and they let me try different things. Playing street hockey with friends at a young age. Other parents would say, well, what if Chris gets hit in the face with a stick or a ball? Like, that's part of growing up. That's all part of being a kid. I was never protected. I was never in that bubble. And I always went out there and wanted to challenge myself and try new things and do different things. And, things like learning how to ski or learning how to snowboard or playing baseball as a kid. And now to this day, examples like working on the farm, traveling the world. Traveling is something that I always loved doing and always dreamt of doing. I looked at maps and watched travel shows all the time. And I always talked myself out of going on that big trip that I always wanted to take because I was worried, well, maybe I need to have somebody come with me just in case something happens, or, I don't know, maybe I don't have enough money, or you always find excuses, find reasons to talk yourself out of it. Finally, I got sick and tired of making the excuse. I booked a ticket, and I did 3 months in Europe on my own, just my board, my backpack, and just winging it. And it was absolutely incredible, and that's really where the whole "if I can," message that I preach and speak to now really took off. And it's just snowballed from there. But instead of sitting back and dreaming about doing the things that I've always wanted to do and talking about it, taking action and getting out there and doing it. And if you want something bad enough, get out there and do it. Make it happen. Anything is possible. There's those cliches, if you can dream it, you can do it. The sky's the limit. They're all true. If you're willing to put in the time and the effort, have a never quit, don't give up attitude, absolutely anything is possible. If a guy without arms and legs can do these things, anybody can. And I fully recognize that we all have our own story. We all have our own thing. Robin Williams said, everybody you meet is fighting a battle that you can't see. We all have our own thing. It's up to us whether we decide to let it rule us or we decide to accept it, embrace it, and go over and above that. In the end, you get out of life what you put into it. You put out positivity, you put out love, you put out good energy, all those hippie things. You get it back, and I'm serious. You put out good, you get good back. You put out negativity, you put out ugliness, you put out hate, you will get that back. Yes, there are exceptions. Sometimes bad things will happen to good people, but in my travels in my life, 99.9% of the people I've ever encountered have been absolutely just anywhere from good to absolutely incredible. It's that small fraction of a percentage that sticks out in the news and with terrorism and murders and whatnot. But in my travels, I've seen a lot of amazing people and been on the receiving end of a lot of kind gestures, and it's all. I go out there with a big smile on my face. I'm having fun. I'm loving life, and I encourage you to, whatever your story is, regardless of whatever your story is, make the most of this. There's the saying, YOLO, but I think it should be YODO. Instead of you only live once, it should be you only die once. On the morning of January 1st, when you woke up this year, you were given 365 opportunities to live. And I encourage you to make the most out of each and every single one of those days because it is a gift and it is a choice. I've made the choice to make the most of my life, and I really hope me coming here and talking today has got you thinking about some of those things in your own lives that you've always talked about doing and dreamt about doing, and just get out there and make the most of it. And I just want to thank you all very much for having me here today, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.